Magandang araw sa inyo mga kabansa. Kayo po ay nasa Iparas kay Paras. At ito yung lingkod Ado Paglinawan na nagbubungan ng pagbati sa inyo para sa ating sekretary.
Magandang hapon po mga kababayan. Magandang hapon Paring Ado. Magandang hapon muli or magandang araw po muli sa inyo lahat. Alam ko malapit na ang kaarawan ng ating dating Pangulo, si Pangulong Duterte, na siya ngayon ay nagdusa doon sa kanyang kulungan sa kulungan ng ICC sa The Hague. At yung pagkakulong sa kanya mga kababayan ay walang katuturan. Unang-una, ang issue talaga na sinasabi ng mga may alam sa international law ay wala talagang jurisdiction ang ICC sa ating bansa. Kasi nag-withdraw na tayo sa ICC sa Rome Statute, mga kababayan. And kamakailan, mga kababayan, Paring Ado, this is strongly manifested by the Solicitor General himself na bakit maglakas loob ang Solicitor General at hindi niya gagampanan yung trabaho niya dahil sa prinsipyo. Nasabi na nga natin, mayroong 3 pending cases on habeas corpus at Supreme Court at ang mga respondents doon ay walang iba kundi ang Executive Secretary. Dapat nga si Marcos, kaso lang in so many decisions ng Korte Suprema or sa jurisprudence ay hindi muna pwedeng sampahan ang isang Pangulo dahil of his immunity from suit. So normally, it is the Executive Secretary and those na nireveal ni John B. Cremulya na mga tao na nagpatupad ng pagdukot sa ating Pangulo. So, klarong-klaro kung ano ang paninindigan ni Solicitor General Menardo Guevara, at dito po natin ipapakita noong may isang hearing sa House of Representatives at talagang inusisa siya ng mga congressmen at kasama rin ang nag-usisa yung mga kaliwete, mga kaliwa, yung kaibigan ko sa si Nery Colmenares na kasabay ko sa Congress. At dito natin makikita at mayroon ding mga sinasabi ang kasalukuyang Department of Justice na magpapaliwanag na ang ating mga korte, ang ating judicial system ay siyang umiiral pa rin at walang kahulugan ang sinasabi ng ICC na may jurisdiction sila, because doon sa isang provision ng ICC, the Rome Statute, mayroong sinasabi na provision on complementarity, at doon mismo sa complementarity mapapakita na kung ang isang state, whether it is a party or not a party anymore, uiral pa rin yung provision ng complementarity, that hindi makikialam ang ICC sa isang bansa, sa isang state sa pag-imbestiga ng mga krimen kung ang kanilang sariling judikatura or judicial system ay umiiral at malakas ang kanilang sistema. So dito po natin ipapakita, mga kababayan, ang paninindigan ni Solgen Guevara, bakit hindi talaga siya kakampi. At si Marcos na mismo nagsabi rin na walang jurisdiction ang ICC. Pero magkaiba si Guevara at si Marcos. Si Guevara may paninindigan, si Marcos parang ano yan ano ba yung dikya na walang katawan, walang jelly, kaya nga jellyfish ang tawag, because yung utak niya ay parang jelly, na parang ang pagganon-ganon, oo, sasabihin dito, pero ang gagawin is the exact opposite, which is happening. But Guevara has stand his ground because nasabi na niya ang paninindigan at ang kalagayan ng ating bansa vis-a-vis yung jurisdiction ng ICC. Ito po, dito po isa-isahin natin ang mga sinasabi ni Ginoong Guevara.
Good morning, Your Honors. I do not have any opening statement to make. I'm here to answer any questions that the members of the two committees may ask in connection with the ICC decision and on the issue of whether we have any legal duty to cooperate with the ICC prosecutor. First of all, Your Honors, I believe that the matter of whether we should cooperate with the ICC prosecutor is a political decision. And in that respect, the head of the Republic, the head of state, the President himself, has repeatedly declared that the Republic cannot extend its cooperation to the ICC in any form or manner whatsoever because national institutions are functioning which can actually do the investigation and prosecution here, and that any intervention by a foreign entity such as the ICC would be an encroachment on our sovereignty. So that is the political aspect with respect to this matter. But as Solicitor General and Counsel for the Republic, I am here to explain the legal basis on why there is no legal duty on the part of the Philippines to cooperate with the ICC. I will do so on the basis of a major distinction between the existence of jurisdiction and the exercise of that jurisdiction. Jurisdiction over the subject matter, Your Honors, is covered by Article 5 of the Rome Statute. That is jurisdiction over the subject matter, namely over crimes of genocide, crimes of aggression, crimes against humanity, and so forth and so on. Jurisdiction over the subject matter. And there is no doubt, as the Supreme Court pointed out, that the ICC has jurisdiction over offenses or crimes that happened during the time when the Philippines was still a member of the ICC. No question about that. However, the exercise of that jurisdiction is covered by a different section of the Rome Statute. Exercise of jurisdiction is covered by rules, Articles 12 and 13 of the Rome Statute. And there are preconditions to the exercise of jurisdiction by the ICC. Most important of these preconditions for the exercise of jurisdiction is that the Philippines should still be a member of the ICC at the time that the exercise of that jurisdiction is triggered. All right, so when was the exercise of that jurisdiction triggered? It was triggered when the ICC prosecutor requested the ICC chamber, the pre-trial chamber, to initiate or to commence an investigation. When did that happen? That request to commence an investigation, which should have triggered the exercise of the ICC's jurisdiction, happened in May of 2021. And the pretrial chamber granted that authorization to commence the investigation in September of 2021. Now, was the Republic of the Philippines still a state party to the ICC at the time that the exercise of jurisdiction was triggered? The Philippines served notice of its withdrawal in March of 2018, and it became effective 1 year later in March of 2019. So at the time that the exercise of jurisdiction was triggered, a precondition for the exercise of that condition jurisdiction was not existent. And what is that precondition? As I said, membership of the Philippines in the ICC. 2 years had already elapsed when the exercise of jurisdiction was triggered. So, for that reason, Your Honors, while in fact it is admitted that the ICC had jurisdiction over the offenses committed during that period when we were still a member, quite unfortunately, the trigger for the exercise of that jurisdiction came much too late. And the ICC prosecutor himself should be, well, I wouldn't want to say blamed, but it's his lack of assiduousness that prompted this situation. This is far different from the case of the Republic of Burundi, because in that case of Republic versus Burundi, Burundi also withdrew from the ICC. But before the 1 year period could elapse, the ICC prosecutor commenced his investigation by asking the pretrial chamber for authorization, and the pretrial chamber granted that authorization. So before that 1 year period expired in Burundi, na-trigger yung exercise of jurisdiction. Not so in the case of the Philippines. So, yun po yung legal basis. Baka po tanongin nyo, ano pa yung significance noong 1 year period? Bakit merong 1 year period? The reason for that, Your Honors, is the ICC in the articles, under the articles of the Rome Statute, wanted to balance yun pong two competing interests. One major interest is yung sovereign right of any member state to withdraw from the treaty kung kailan niya gusto. That is one major consideration. Any member, any state, if it doesn't want to continue its membership, it has the sovereign right to withdraw from that membership. What is the other competing interest? The other competing interest is the ICC also wants to make sure that efforts to end impunity are also addressed. So how do you balance these two competing interests? By imposing that 1 year period within which the ICC prosecutor may initiate his investigation before the effectivity of the withdrawal of that state. Yun po yung balancing factor, that 1 year period. But in this case po, ang nangyari, na nag-take effect na po yung ating withdrawal in March of 2019, and yet, nung 2021 lang, more than 2 years later, nung mag-trigger ng exercise of jurisdiction. Kasi hindi naman po pwedeng forever, perpetually nakatutok sa atin ang ICC kahit na hindi na po tayo miyembro ng ICC. Yun po ang paliwanag kung bakit there is no legal duty on the part of the Philippine government to cooperate. As I said, it's a political decision. But from a legal standpoint, the President has made it a point, has emphasized that we have no legal duty to cooperate. Now, the other major consideration po is on the issue of admissibility or the principle of complementarity, which says na ang may primary jurisdiction to investigate all offenses and crimes that happened within Philippine territory belong to the national domestic institutions. At kung hindi po nagfa-function like some rogue states, I wouldn't say in what continent or what, then that's the time that the ICC should enter. Pero hindi naman po tayo nasa kategory ng isang rogue state. We have a functioning legal system. We have a functioning judicial system. So while it may not be perfect, what we have been emphasizing is it's there, it's in place, it's working. We all know that. Kung tayo po may problema sa hustisya, we still go to our national institutions.
Klarong-klaro po na...
Clear na clear.
Clear na clear. Hindi yung bobo na clear, ha? Ito, clear. Clear, hindi yung clear. Kasi yung clear na yan, talagang malabo yun. Pero yung clear, ito yung clear na clear. Klarong-klaro ang explanation. So, ito po ang sasabihin natin, mga kababayan. Sinasabi nila, hindi daw nagpapunction ang ating judicial system. Dito sa isang blog, talumpati, sa aming dating kasama, si Eli Saludar, may sinasabi siya tungkol dito.
Ito, atin pong sinaliksik. At ito ho ay lumabas noong November 28 o November 29, 2018. O ito, siyempre sa panahon po ito ng panunungkulan ni Pangulong Duterte. So dito ho mga kababayan ay ang Philippine Court, yung ating korte mga kababayan, noong November 29 ay hinatulan ang 3 pulis, miyembro po ng Philippine National Police, kaugnay ng pagpatay dito po kay Kian de los Santos. So, siguro kilala at maalala nyo naman ho yan dahil sa bukang bibig ho ngayon, di ba? Kapag mga issue po ng EJ case, ay ito pong si Kian de los Santos na isang 17 anyos dyan po sa Caloocan City at noong August 16, 2017 ho yan napatay. At sila po ay nakita ho sa CCTV at talagang yung brutal na pagpatay dito ho kay Kian de los Santos. At dahil dyan ay sinampahan ng kaso ito hong mga pulis at ito sinentensyahan mga kababayan. Ito pong sina Arnel Oares, Jeremias Pereda at Jerwin Cruz. Sila po ay nahatulan ng ito ho, ang bigat ho ng hatol 4 na taon, 40 anyos, 40 years na pagkakabilanggo without ito sinasabi ho ng korte, without eligibility for parole. Ibig sabihin, hindi po sila maaari kahit na pang gawin ho nilang pagpapakabait at pagpapakatino diyan po sa bilangguan, kailangang tapusin nila yung 40 years, 40 taon. So yan po ang naging paghatol ng korte. So ibig sabihin nito mga kababayan ay lumilitaw na hindi totoo yung binabanggit ni Secretary Boying Rimulya na nagkaroon po ng kabiguan o failed ang justice system dito po sa ating bansa sa panahon ni dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Sa katunayan, itong 3 pulis na sinasabing pumatay dito po kay Kian de los Santos ay nahatulan. So, hindi po totoo na nawala. Baka naman nagpapalusot na lang ho. Lilitaw ho, magiging perception po ng marami, Secretary Boying Rimulya, na baka nagpapalusot ka lang para bigyang katwiran yung pagsasampa ng kaso diyan po sa ICC. Diba? Nito pong mga sinasabing kaanak ng biktima ng extrajudicial killings.
Ito po, hindi galing sa amin. Ito si Paring Eli, matagal na ito. Decades. As journalist, broadcaster, at hindi naman siguro irresponsable ito na magsabi. At sinabi niya, uungkat siya ng mga nangyayari sa ating bansa at nakita niya na ang ating hustisya, tulad ng sinasabi ni Solgen Guevara, ay gumagala. And this is even up to the time of President Duterte's administration. Now, we can no longer, kasi sinasabi nila, nag-file karamihan itong may mga complaint ngayon sa ICC. Ito po ay pakulo ni Trillanes at pakulo ni Laila de Lima. Kung tuusin mo mga kababayan, sa panahon na Mayor si Duterte, kasi ang kaso na inaano nila, yung coverage daw from 2011 to 2019. Okay. Presuming na yung kanilang mga sinampa na complaints ay magmula pa nung Mayor si Duterte hanggang 2019. Nag-imbestiga na si Laila de Lima, mga kababayan. So, that just goes to show that the justice system is working, because no other than the human rights chairman, si de Lima, then she became the justice secretary and she became a senator.
When Duterte was mayor.
When Duterte was mayor until Duterte became president. The judicial system was working because the head of the investigating group is the opposition. No other than Laila de Lima. She belongs to the Ocho Derecho na mga kandidato ng Dilawan na zero. Pero siya, incumbent senator siya. At doon po nakita na wala siyang sinampang kaso. So, how can you now say, paano nyo na ngayon masasabi na the justice system is not working? When there was an investigation started when she was the chairman of the Human Rights, sa panahon pa ni Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, magkaaway si Boy Nograles. Ako, alam ko ito. Magkaaway si Boy Nograles, who was then the I think Boy was the majority floor leader of the House of Representatives, and Duterte was mayor. Boy was defeated by Duterte so many times when he always ran for the mayorship. I mean, may he rest in peace, no? He's one of my closest friends, Boy Nograles. But the truth is, si Boy Nograles ang nag-udyok kay de Lima to investigate. Dahil sa pagkatalo niya, inudyukan niya si de Lima to investigate as early as when she was the Human Rights Chairman. Pero walang sinampa na kaso si de Lima against Rodrigo Duterte. At that time, when Duterte was mayor, there was no case filed wala naman siyang immunity from suit as mayor. Pero bakit walang sinampang kaso against Duterte? Kung yung sinasabi ni Matubato at ni Las Cañas ay inutusan sila ni Duterte na tatag ng death squad at sila ang inuutusan na pumatay. Bakit nag-imbestiga si De Lima? Tapos ginamit nila itong dalawa, pero anong sinasabi ni Sabio? Ito ngayon ang main witnesses ng prosecutor ng ICC. In fact, pero ang sinasabi ni Sabio, when he originally, Attorney Sabio, when he originally filed the case, paring Ado, it was for the purpose of justice.
Justice, oh.
But what did he say eventually?
In the interest of justice.
In the interest of justice. But what did he eventually say? Nag-withdraw siya ng kanyang kaso because he realized that Las Cañas and Matubato were just being used. Kasi nadiskubrihan niya ito
as political tools.
They were made as political tools dahil noong Bicoy case, napakulo nung Bicoy case, na kukunin siya daw na abogado ni Bicoy, pero natuklasan niya na gawa-gawa lang ni Trillanes yung istorya ni Bicoy. At doon niya na-realize na kung ganito ang kalidad ni De Lima at ni Trillanes, hindi siya magpapatuloy na bilang instrumento ng injustice. Kasi klarong-klaro na yung mga testimony nung Bicoy ay gawa-gawa lang nitong si Trillanes. And because of that, na-realize niya na wala palang katutulan yung testimony ni Matubato at ni Las Cañas kasi it will just be his conclusion is that ginamit lang pala ito ni De Lima at ni Trillanes. So, yun po, klarong-klaro na ito yung testigo ngayon nila sa ICC, walang mangyayari. Ito po, tingnan natin yung testimony ni Colmenares at ni nung isang opisyal ng Department of Justice nung tinanong sila sa hearing. Sabi nung opisyal ng Department of Justice, nung tinanong siya, bakit walang na-file? Ilan ba ang talagang pinatay noong war on drugs? Ilan bang namatay? They always adjudge it na yung killings were really part on the war on drugs. So, sabi niya, turnover daw sa kanila, mga kababayan, 7,700 more or less ang napatay. 3 taon na si Marcos. Bakit matagal nang tinon-over ng PNP ang mga records ng mga pinatay? Bakit sa panahon ni Marcos hindi na, sabi nga,
kanino tinon-over?
Tinon-over sa DOJ.
DOJ.
Ito, ipakita po natin.
I am the Program Director of the Department of Justice, Human Rights Office. And sa tingin ko po, malinaw na nailatag ni Solgen Guevara ang arguments, ang position ng Executive Department, and specifically the Department of Justice main office is of course echoing the positions as articulated by Solgen, by the Solicitor General. In addition to those, the Department of Justice would like to express the respect to the expression of the sense of the House of Representatives, urging the Philippine government to cooperate through the House resolutions that were filed and are pending consideration right now. Aside from echoing and reiterating the pronouncements made by the President on this matter, the Department of Justice would like to emphasize on the following. Number one, that the present administration has followed through on the efforts of the interagency review panel that was previously created to look into the drug-related operations under the previous administration where death occurred. More particularly, Mr. Chair and Your Honors, Secretary Boying Remulla convened in the past months the Department of Justice, National Prosecution Service, the Philippine National Police, the National Bureau of Investigation, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency, including the Dangerous Drugs Board, and gave them clear instructions to ensure that people are made accountable for the wrongs done under the previous administration's campaign on the war on drugs. In Secretary Remulla's words, he does not want for history to remember us as a government that did not do something about that. And thus, these agencies have been looking into more than 7,000 incidents or police operations that resulted in death. The Department of Justice's new policy on the proactive involvement of prosecutors in the investigation of crimes and buildup of cases will give this review of incidents a new perspective, and that is the prosecutor's leadership and supervision of these investigations. With prosecutors closely working with law enforcers in this review and investigation process mechanisms of the United Nations and special mandate holders in order to improve and strengthen the state's accountability mechanisms. For instance, the state engaged in several revalida or constructive dialogues before the United Nations bodies to review, report, and receive recommendations on the state's compliance with several human rights treaties and conventions.
Sinasabi nito, mga kababayan, tapos na yung Duterte administration. Sinasabi nitong representative ng Department of Justice na the Philippine National Police has turned over to them from the Duterte administration to the Marcos administration ng mga records which were gathered by the PNP IAS, yung mga incidents of police involvement in alleged killings of civilians and other people, mga drug lords, mga drug users, and all this. 7,700 daw. So, ilang taon na ba si Marcos Jr., pare? Sinasabi nila, nandyan na sa kamay nila, and nag-meeting pa nga ang DOJ, mga piskal, mga NBI, mga immigration, and everybody with the mandate to come up with build up of cases or findings of prima facie or probable cause against any of those involved in the killings of these 7,700. Tatlong taon na, hanggang ngayon wala pang na-file. Is this deliberate para lang talagang sasabihin nila na ang ICC ay manghimasok? So, bakit wala pang na-file? Pero, base doon sa report ni Eli Saludar, at kami mismo ni Attorney Topacio, we are conversant of the Ian anong pangalan? De Los Santos killings, kasi na-involved kami dyan when we were still with the Volunteer Against Crime and Corruption. We were able to help the father of the witnesses dito sa kay Kian na kinidnap allegedly by Hontivirus. At nung kinonfront namin sila, kasi yung tatay ng mga bata pumunta sa BACC, kami ni Ferdy Topacio were the lawyers, legal counsel for BACC. Pinuntahan namin mismo si Hontivirus sa kanyang opisina. Ayaw kaming kausapin, at sinabi namin, tinago niyo yung mga witnesses. At yung palang mga bata ay tinago na ng kanyang kasabwat na si Monsignor David ng Caloocan. At doon namin na-confront si David at inamin niya na nakatago yung mga bata. But be that as it may, at the end of the day, that Kian Santos killing, sabi ni Eli Saludar, as he has spoken earlier, nagkaroon ng hustisya. 3 pulis were found guilty. So, hindi po ba masasabi na the justice system is working? 40 years yung punishment. Pero, noong panahon na ni Marcos, wala na. The conviction of this policeman started during the time of Duterte, because Duterte never wanted to let go with the abuses of policemen. So, yun po mga kababayan.
So, teka, klaruhin ko lang.
Okay.
Natapos na ang term ni Duterte, umusad ang gulong ng katarungan at yung mga kaso na kinalam ng Philippine National Police ay i-turn over na sa departamento ni Boying Rimulya.
Yes.
Sa Department of
As
Justice.
Admitted by this prosecutor na babae. Okay.
At doon, for whatever reason, wala yatang na-file na kaso.
Walang na-file. Nagtuturuan sila. Sabi niya, ano yan sa pulis? Sabi naman ng pulis, itinurn over na po namin yung record sa inyo.
Hindi. Ito lang yung off the cuff question. No?
Okay.
Baka sabihin kasi nagdadrama tayo rin.
Okay.
Ano kaya ang rason kung bakit walang na isang pangkaso?
Okay. Una, it may be deliberate. Deliberate or
panahon na ni Marcos to.
It may be deliberate or tamad lang sila or may bago silang setup na yung case build up.
Simple kaya at secretary na wala naman talagang ebidensya na may haharap sa husgado.
Wala nga. This brings us to this lawyer of itong mga kaliwa. Itong si Nery Colmenares. Kaibigan ko rin to. Magkasabay kami nito. In fact, we had some collective efforts in the past when we were members of Congress. And
kasi baka kwento lang ito eh.
Sabi ni Colmenares, he admitted when he was questioned, tinanong siya, bakit yung mga kliyente mo hindi nag-file dito? Bakit doon sila sa ICC? No. Bakit hindi ito? Kuhanin natin yung kanyang testimony.
I do agree with the argument, Mr. Chair, 100% na solid po ang korte natin. Na nag-work po ang ating korte. Na meron ho tayong justice system dito. Congressman Colmenares, given the fact that the one that you have mentioned has already been out of office, would you still maintain your advice to your clients to continue on filing the case before the Supreme Court, before the ICC? Would you advise this time around your clients to file it before our courts?
That is a matter for them to decide, Mr. Chair. We're just the counsel. However, the issue of trust, Mr. Chair, is also there. For example, just the question of Congressman Bordado. How many were killed? 7,732. How many cases were filed? And the DOJ doesn't even know. The PNP doesn't know. So the impression of everybody is, it's not, you may be working, the judicial system may be working, but you're unwilling. So that's another matter that the families of the victims will have to decide. But this is not very encouraging, Mr. Chair.
Inamin rin ng Kaliwete. Inamin rin na deliberate yung kanilang pag-ignore ng sinabi na ni Congressman Zia that I believe that our system of our judicial system is working. I believe that the Supreme Court and the courts are working. Mr. Colmenares, bakit sinasabi mo na ano masasabi mo? Sabi niya, I advise my clients and the others not to file in the Philippines but with the ICC. Tinanong siya, bakit? Kasi daw ang DOJ dami-daming kaso, 7,700, wala daw na i-file ni isa. Nagsinungaling ka, Choy, paring Neri. Paano si Kian Santos? Hindi ba? Sa panahon ni Duterte, na-convicted yung 3 pulis. And there were more pending cases. But nagkaroon na lang ng ikangay end ng term at tinurn over sa DOJ. Tinurn over sa DOJ yung mga kaso. At sinasabi ni Nery Colmenares, he will not encourage. It's up to them, but I will not encourage them to file it here. Because
panahon na ni Marcos.
Panahon na ni Marcos. Because ang DOJ, walang na-file ni isang kaso. Sila mismo nagsabi na 3 taon ka na, Marcos, kayo dyan sa DOJ, sinasabi ni Colmenares na wala kayong nagawa. So, is it deliberate? Kaya sabi niya, wala na kaming trust sa justice system. Kailan ba? Yung kay Kian, sa panahon pa ni Duterte, convicted dito sa walang na-convict na isa. Kaya ang mga kaliwa, para talaga to drum up, dahil unang-una, galit sila kay Duterte, deliberate na ini-encourage nila sa ICC ipapile. So, yan ba? Mapipilit mo yung gobyerno, si Soljan Guevara, na i-give up yung complementarity na ang justice system natin, si Congressman Sia is even open to the idea that our justice system is really working?
Secretary, ako naguguluhan dito kay Colmenares. Paano niya masasabing the justice system is not working when they are not even making an effort to push the cases of their own clients?
Kaya nga, pamulitika lang dahil mga kaliwa galit na galit kay Sara, galit na galit kay Duterte. Kasi wipe out yung mga kasama nilang mga NPA sa Davao City. So, they have an axe to grind with Duterte. So, dito sa Pilipinas, the real justice system works. But sa ICC, nasiswing ang justice system kasi bias ang ICC sa mga kaliwa. Yun ang totoo. In fact, bakit nila binigyan ng asylum yung maraming pinatay? Yung mga graves, hidden graves na pinapatay ng mga NPA. Why did they grant asylum to a criminal like Joma Sison, mga kababayan? And nobody in the ICC has even touched Joma. Binigyan pa nila ng asylum sa Netherlands. So, klarong-klaro na talagang deliberate yung bibira nila kay Digong. Ito, pakinggan natin yung...
Ang tingin nila sa ICC, therefore, home grounds nila.
Home grounds ng mga kaliwa. Kasi...
For a hometown decision.
Kasi tagal ni Joma doon In fact, the United States has already declared the New People's Army as a terrorist group. And Joma binigyan ng asylum ng they deliberately hid him from the United States of America and other countries who were considering Joma Sison as a terrorist. So ito pa, just to show na deliberate yung hindi pag-file ng kaso by the DOJ. Ito.
I am directing my question to the representative of the Department of Justice. some clarificatory questions, Mr. Chairman. You're telling us, Madam Prosecutor, that the DOJ is focusing on 7,000 plus cases. Is that correct?
Sir, yes, because this is the figure, this is the number that was submitted by the Philippine National Police, the Directorate for Operations. Ito po yung naging initial number na nakuha nila out of the big universe of incidents that involved that was involved in the drug war, sir. So I cannot even categorically say how kung ilang 7,000 po, kasi this is actually a moving number. From what I understand po, yung ating mga personnel from the PNP continue to process these cases, and together with the panel that was created by Secretary Remulla, we will sit down with the Philippine National Police personnel as well as the PDEA personnel, the DDB and NBI, just to get the figures straight.
So ang ibig sabihin, Mr. Chairman, wala pa tayong definite number.
Depende po kung ano po yung pag-uusapan po ata natin. From what I understand, meron pong system ang Philippine National Police which is sifting the incidents into depende po kung ano ang gusto nating makuha. Halimbawa po, incidents involving warrants of arrest, incidents involving buy-bust operations lang po. Sino ang namatay doon? May pulis ba doon? Walang namatay? O,
Mr. Chairman,
ganun po ang processing.
Mr. Chairman, let me just clarify. Ilan ba ang namatay in connection with this so-called war on drugs?
Depende rin po siguro kung sino pong namatay ang pinag-uusapan natin. Mga subjects po ba? May mga police din po? Because from what I understand, the Philippine National Police has those figures po.
So in other words, Mr. Chairman, the Department of Justice doesn't have the data.
We have, sir, the initial data, but if this is the clear and final number, we cannot say for sure that this is it po. So, like I said po, we are continuously working with the Philippine National Police in cleaning up the numbers.
Kasi Mr. Chairman, iba-iba ang mga data, iba-iba ang mga numbers na nababasa namin. May nagsasabi na 6,000 ang namatay. Sinasabi mo po kanina 7,000. And may man nagkiklaim na umaabot sa 10,000. So, what is the real number? Can you give us a number which is close to reality?
Sir, kung ang pag-uusapan po natin yung pinakahuli pong numero na ibinigay po ng Philippine National Police, meron po ako ditong pwedeng maibigay na from July 1, 2016, hanggang June 30, 2022, meron pong 7,732 fatalities involving drug personalities.
7,732.
732.
So, sa 7,732 cases of deaths, ilan bang kaso ang i-file na?
Pwede po ako mag-refer sa Philippine National Police ng updated number po natin.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
The onus is in the DOJ under Marcos.
Sa executive.
They are already in possession of actual cases of killings. As a matter of fact, inadmit niya that the latest, which was already under the term of Marcos administration, 7,732. Pwede ba na sa daming kaso niyan, wala ka man lang maipile at hanggang 3 taon na you are still under investigation, you are still investigating, and it took the Quadcom to investigate Duterte and several others na natauhan ang DOJ, at saka na lang nag-isip na pailan ang kaso si Duterte or si wala nang immunity si Duterte for 3 years. And you have 7,700 cases. Oh. So, although the justice system, like the courts, are grinding, but the prosecution system is sleeping on their task. Kasi pag pinail yan, tulad nung kay Kian Santos ba yan?
De Los Santos.
Kian de Los Santos, na-file yung kaso sa panahon ni Duterte, na-convict.
In the period of 1 year,
kinonvict ng police.
Mabilis.
So, that's the DOJ of the Duterte time. Itong DOJ ni Marcos Jr., 7,700, iniisa o dalawa, walang na-file na kaso. So, that does not mean that the justice system is failing, but the DOJ is the one that is failing. But the courts are waiting. The courts are waiting for the information that should be filed. At na-test na yung abilidad ng korte doon sa kay Kian de Los Santos. Kasi na-convict yung mga police, 40 years ang sentensya.
Mabilis lang.
So, is it deliberate? Is there really a deliberate parang
to stall?
Nagkampihan ang DOJ at ang mga kaliwa? Like Nery Colmenares, sinasabi niya it's the fault of DOJ, kaya ini-encourage niya na wag mag-file sa piskal ng mga kaso. Doon na lang na tatambak. So, yun po mga kababayan. At walang direct. I don't know bakit nila hinuli si Duterte na according to Boying Rimulya doon sa Senate investigation, they are still doing case build-up. So, bakit hindi nila pinagpatibay, just like what Soljan Guevara is saying, that the courts are working, the justice system is working, but the executive is failing. Yun ang... Kasi may tatlong branches of government Congress.
Hindi kaya dahil yung secretary lagi nasa ospital?
That's
a factor.
That's something personal, but we cannot comment on that. But this is an admission by one of the officials of the DOJ when Congressman Bordago has asked them that wala talagang. So, ngayon, it boils down to it's a lie. It's a lie to say that our court system, and it's deliberate attempt on the executive department to bring Duterte to the ICC, in spite the fact
ibang kaso yung binibuild up nila.
In spite the fact that the justice system is working. Si Kian na-file yun sa DOJ ni President Duterte. Si Guevara was the DOJ secretary. Pero dito sa kay Marcos, 3 taon na, 7,700 yung incidents of killings, none was ever filed.
Ito bang bawat isang to 7,732. Ito may katawan. May corpus delicti, siyempre.
That is why they're
Diba?
still investigating.
Oo.
Until now. Mahirap kasi kung ang isang opisina, mga kababayan, ito tandaan nyo mga kababayan, mga sundalo, mga pulis, tandaan nyo yung sinasabi ko. Mahirap kasi kung ang isang opisina selective sa kanilang respondent. Kung ang case build-up nila ay tutumbukan talaga si Duterte, talagang wala talaga silang ma-file na kaso. Because not one case points to the fact that it was Duterte who perpetuated such crime. Alam nyo, madalas magsasabi si Duterte na, ipapatay ko yan. Akong pumatay niyan, or and so on and so forth. But you have to separate the jokes, you have to separate the bravado, you have to separate the sarcasm from the body of the crime.
Ayun.
Kung wala kang corpus delicti, kung wala kang direct witness that points to Duterte as the killer or the one that ordered the killing directly, kaya nga nahirapan talaga sila to pin down Duterte. Kaya nga I wonder, doon sa pre-trial chamber, kasi ino-orderan ngayon, mga kababayan, yung prosecution, yung rapist na Karen Khan, yung Karen Khan na yan, pinapaimbestiga din mismo ng ICC dahil ng rape or ng hipo ng babae, mga kababayan. So how can you trust a guy like that? Yung mukha pa niyan mukhang sanggano, na yun ang magpo-prosecute sa kaso ni Duterte. So they are now ordered by the ICC to give the defense copies of what they have in store, yung kanilang evidence to show that Duterte is really guilty. And nakakatawa ito kasi there's one official of government na kunyari emotional, in-interview siya. Tingnan mo ito, walang pakialam doon sa ginawa nilang pagkidnap kay Duterte. Ang pinaatupag niya, yun daw mga biktima.
Did the government, lumabag ba ang gobyerno sa proseso, sa arrest proceedings of the custodial state? I'll read it again. Article 59 of the ICC, the arrest proceedings in the custodial state, Paragraph 2, a person arrested shall be brought promptly before the competent judicial authority in the custodial state. Dapat po ata dinala muna si Duterte sa isang judge or hukom sa Pilipinas, Secretary.
Good morning, Karen. Good morning, attorney. I am not a lawyer. I cannot interpret the law, nor am I a competent authority. But I find it amusing that Attorney Lambino keeps on insisting on the rights of the former president. What about the rights of the 30,000 who he summarily had killed without any judicial action, without any charges? 30,000 victims were killed without any due process.
Well, with due respect, ito si John Vic, doon sa fraternity namin, hindi naman kasali ito, nothing personal. Junior brad ko ito. At alam ko, dati matino naman ito Siguro nahawa ni Marcos, ganun na siya ngayon kasinungaling. Pipresenta lang natin ang records ng DOJ na pinamunuan ng kapatid niya. 7,700 lang ang
32.
under investigation. 7,732. That's on record.
Yun ang katawan.
Oh.
May patay.
Saan nang galing yung 30,000 at nag-i-emotional pa? Hindi na bali daw yung karapatan ni Duterte, pero yung imaginary niya 30,000 yan, kung saan niya nang galing yung 30,000 yan, yun daw ang atupagin. Dahil itong 30,000, kawawa naman. Tinurture, pinatay, ni-rape or whatever. Naku, ang hirap naman kung hindi ka nag-aaral bago ka magdadaldal.
Alam ko kung saan niya nakuha yan eh. Nakuha niya yan sa Rappler, pero lumampas pa siya ng 3,000. Sa Rappler kasi 27,000.
Alam mo naman yung Rappler kaya nga
kwento.
Kaya nga ano yan arm ng CIA yan at arm ng allegedly arm ng
Obidjar Network.
At
saka ng USAID.
Kaya galit sila ngayon kay Trump dahil puputulin yung kanilang pondo. Kung galing man yan sa Rappler, hindi nag-aaral ito. Ang dali-dali. Kapatid ko yung namumuno ng DOJ. Hindi man lang siya nagtanong kung ilan ang tapos bibida pa na 30,000 30,000.
Jobus mo
So, yun nga mga kababayan, ang nangyayari dito. Kaya balik po tayo sa issue ng bakit walang jurisdiction ang ICC. At ito po ay flawlessly inexplain na ni Ginoong Solicitor General Guevara. At sinasabi niya, kasi may nagsasabi na may continuing daw, may residual. Maski hindi na tayo member, pagka nag-umpisa daw ang investigation, tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Pero sinasabi niya, dalawa yan. Yung actual na pinayagan mag-preliminary investigation, ang ICC was only in May 2021 when the prosecutor has sought permission and was granted, and they only started actually in 2022. Pero yung examination hindi formal, walang paalam sa kusang loob lang ng, alam mo kasi the prosecution arm ng ICC has its own power, has its own fund na pwede silang mag-imbestiga. Pero that's not formal. Pwede silang magpunta sa isang bansa to build up examination ang tawag niya. Pero yung actual preliminary investigation wherein you start pointing culprits, pointing respondents, was only in 2021. And sabi ni Guevara, paso na. We were no longer members of the ICC. Kasi 2019 pa, wala na tayo. So, the prosecutor, yung kalbo na Bombay, na British citizen, na nang-rape, allegedly, ng mga babae, at iniimbestigahan ngayon, wala tayong tiwala niyan. Bakit maniniwala tayo ng isang rapist na mag-prosecute ng kaso ni Duterte? Mga kababayan? Bakit tayo maniwala dyan? Na nag-umpisa lang sila ng informal examination kung sino yan. General. Walang pinpointed na kung sino yung perpetrators ng criminal offense. But in 2021, pinayagan sila, wala na jurisdiction ang ICC dahil hindi na po tayo miyembro. And this is well explained by the Solicitor General. And that brings us to the issue na hindi siya magdidepensa doon sa mga culprit, yung sinasabi ni John B. Cremulya na mga nagplano, including Marcos, nagplano sa pagdukot kay Duterte. So yun po ang katotohanan dyan. Ang inamin mismo ng mga abogado ng mga kaliwa na talagang hinihikayat nila na yung gustong mag-file ng kaso sa Pilipinas ay ini-discourage nila. Na huwag kayong mag-ano dyan. Kasi, siniraan nila yung hustisya ng Pilipinas, pero dito pa rin sila naninilahan sa Pilipinas. Pagka may mga kaso, na ito nga yung double face nitong mga kaliwa, paring ano. Pag may mga kaso, tulad nitong sa budget, tulad nitong sa PhilHealth, saan sila tumatakbo? Sa Korte Suprema. Seek justice sa Supreme Court. But at the same time, they are telling other people na huwag kayong maniwala dyan sa justisya, sa judiciary, kasi walang justisya dyan. Tulad nitong kay Arnie Tevez, hindi nakuha yung kanilang hinihikayat na magkaroon ng extradition
sa Timor-Leste.
Sa Timor-Leste, sabi ng Timor-Leste, walang dahilan na extradite. O anong sinasabi? Corrupt yung Timor-Leste.
O sino nagsasabi nun?
Ikaw ba nalaman mo kung sino nagsabi?
Lumabas sa internet
The same people. The same people. Hindi ko nilang i-mention yung departamento at saka pangalan. Pero the same people, at bablakan daw nila na maging membro ang Timor-Leste sa ASEAN, as if napaka-powerful naman ng Pilipinas na may say. Sinusuka nga tayo ng ibang mga ASEAN countries Tapos magyabang tayo na ibablock natin as member of the ASEAN. Timor-Leste is more ASEAN than the Philippines. So yun po mga kababayan, na walang jurisdiction. Now kung walang jurisdiction, so paano nila i-honor yung warrant of arrest if the principal does not even have jurisdiction? Meaning to say, wala siyang karapatan, wala siyang poder na mag-issue ng warrant of arrest. So the warrant of arrest from the beginning is void kasi walang jurisdiction Paano ka manghuli na? Kaya yung sinasabi na separate daw yung state doon sa individual ay that's ano ba yung theory na yan? Parang theory na lang yan na makaabot tayo sa Jupiter at saka sa Saturn.
Lapas ka na ng Mars.
So with due respect, nothing personal. At yun po mga kababayan, void yung warrant of arrest, and I think I'm confident
from the very beginning
that kung bigyan lang ng pagkakataon ng pre-trial chamber yung argumento na walang dahilan at walang puder ang Malacanang at ang mga plotters sa pagdukot kay Duterte, ay ICC would let Duterte come home to our... Kaya, mga kababayan, magsama-sama po tayo. Ipaabot natin ang ating mga sundalo, mga pulis na nakinabang kayo ng husto, pinataas yung mga sweldo nyo. Magsama-sama po tayo sa pagsilibrar at pagdamdam sa ating dating Pangulong Duterte na magkaroon ng kanyang kaarawan sa March 28. Let us express our sentiments, our sympathy to the former beloved President of our country. Magsama-sama po tayo, and who knows, history will repeat itself sa ating bansa. Nakadalawa na tayo. Mayroong attempt na magiging 3, pero naudlot, baka maging 4 ang ating pagsama-sama at pagbuklod-buklod. Ito po, hindi natin po na the KOJC ay nagsalita na po na they will join their sympathy, to express their sympathy to the former president.
Iglesia.
Narinig na rin natin yung Iglesia ni Cristo. Ito po ang sinasabi ng Iglesia ni Cristo. And I am not gonna be surprised if they will become part of this expression of the people on March 28.
Sa usapin tungkol po sa dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte.
Ayan po, we come to the crux of the matter.
Yes po, opo.
Para po sa mga kababayan po natin, ang posisyon po ng Iglesia ni Cristo ay ito. Kung ano ang tama at kung ano ang nasa mga batas natin, yun sana ang dapat pairalin. Huwag po itong pilipitin para umayon sa nais ng sinuman. Hindi po sumasang-ayon ng Iglesia sa anumang hakbangin na hindi naaayon sa mga batas ng ating bansa. Sapagkat ang batas po ang salalayang nagpapanatili ng kaayusan sa ating bansa. Kapag ang batas ay binaliwala, ay nagbubunga ito ng kaguluhan, hidwaan at kawalang hustisya. Alam niyo po iyan. Sino mang Pilipino o mamamayan ng ating bansa na may ginawang paglabag sa ating mga batas, dito dapat litisin sa ating bansa. Bakit po? Sapagkat gumagana naman ang sistema ng ating hustisya. Hindi po natin sinasabing huwag litisin ang dating Pangulo sa mga iniaakusa laban sa kanya. Ang saganang amin po, nagtitiwala ang Iglesia ni Cristo sa integridad at kakayahan ng hudikatura para pagpasyahan ng ganitong bagay at usapin. Ang mga hukom natin ay may kakayahan po na gampanan ang kanilang tungkulin, na ipataw ang tamang hustisya at pairali ng katarungan sa lahat ng sandali. Kaya, hindi natin dapat isuko ang soberenya ng ating bansa sa iba. Yan po ang posisyon natin. Ayun.
Mga kababayan, ito po. Ito, mayroon ito kasi noon nga ang sinabi ni Marcos na ayaw niya ng impeachment. It's a storm in the teacup. It will not bring any Filipino. Nakiramay ang Iglesia. Ano pa kaya kung ang isang Pilipino, dati pang Pangulo, maraming nagawa sa ating bansa, ay dudukutin lamang? Sanabi ng Iglesia, dapat dumaan sa batas. Ang Iglesia ay naniniwala sa batas, naniniwala sa hudikatura. Bakit doon ililitis ang isang Pilipino? So, I am very positive that on March 28 or in any moment where the Filipinos will band together as one,
lumabas na po kayo.
Ang Iglesia ni Cristo ay nandyan sa ating katabi. They will express their sentiments of disgust for this government to violate the law and to bring a Filipino, throw him to the lion's den in a foreign country. Yun lang po ang atin na sinasabi na pahabol. So, sama-sama po tayo, March 28, I will be somewhere, and kayo po, you should also be somewhere. And magkita-kita po tayo. Paring Ado, you should also be somewhere, ha? And magsalita po kayo, Paring Ado, ha? To express your freedom of speech.
Si Eli din daw.
And Eli Saludar, and so many other Filipinos. Ito po, nag-express na nga ng umpisa yung Pilipino doon sa Netherlands. Pakita nga natin na kung ako ang Pangulo ng bansa, you're supposed to be the leader. You're supposed to be the model. You're supposed to be the example. And you're supposed to lead and earn the respect of your people. But maski anong sabihin ng mga minions mo, maski anong sabihin ng mga alipores mo, na may kakayahan ka pa rin sa liderato mo, pero siguro naman hindi ka makatulog pag ang sambayanang Pilipino, ang dami-daming mga Pilipino, hindi natin sasabihin na ito yung majority, pero remember EDSA, remember the EDSA 2. That is not the power of the entire country. Hindi lahat nandoon sa EDSA. Hindi lahat nandoon sa EDSA 2 to oust ERAP. Pero deep inside every Filipino, kasama sila doon sa expression ng sentiment ng taong bayan. So ito, kung ganun lang karami, doon lang sa Netherlands, ganun karami sa Italy, sa Canada, sa US, sa entire Europe, marami po, sa Germany, hindi ka ba kaya matitinag? Makakatulog ka pa ba kaya? Na napakarami ang tao na ayaw na sa'yo? You're supposed to have won a majority against your opponents. Pero now, it seems you are now a minority, Mr. Marcos Jr. Dahil hindi mo pinagbutihan, hindi mo tinupad ang sinasabi mo na gagawin mo para sa mga Pilipino. Gutom at korupsyon pa rin ang nangyayari sa ating bansa. Marami pong salamat, mga kababayan.
Huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe dito sa Iparas kay Paras at i-click ang notification bell. Maraming salamat po.